Well, Parliament has issued a statement responding to a letter that was written by the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, Nehawu, instructing its members to not report to the precincts of Parliament due to alleged occupational safety and health issues. They say the public statement by Nehawu is based on the fire and safety report of the Fire and Rescue Services released by the City of Cape Town on Friday. Nehawu's Parliament Branch Secretary, Themba Gubula, joins us now. All right, let's listen to this package first.
Parliament has noted a public statement by the Nehawu, which organizes staff of Parliament, that it has instructed its members not to report to the precincts of Parliament due to the alleged occupational safety and health issues. The union statement is based on the fire and safety report of the Fire and Rescue Services of Cape Town, released by the government of the City of Cape Town on Friday. Parliament wishes to state that on the 2nd of January 2022, the accounting officer of Parliament issued a communication to members of staff informing them of restrictions of access to the precincts of Parliament due to the fire incident, which has resulted in the cordoning off of affected buildings for reasons relating to safety investigation by law enforcement agencies, as well as the assessment by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure's multidisciplinary team of engineers. Due to these restrictions, the physical presence of most staff members, with the exception of the management directly responsible for management of the fire incident, is not expected until further notice. We reiterate that the report of the Fire and Rescue Services is a preliminary observations of the firefighters during the course of their work. It neither purports to provide conclusive findings and evidence regarding the cause as well as the circumstances surrounding the fire incident, nor does it provide an assessment of the safety of the other parliamentary buildings not affected by the fire. The presiding officers of Parliament remain committed to the spirit of the discussion last week between the Speaker of the National Assembly and the leadership of the Union, which include a series of further engagement to try resolve the Union's grievances and work together in the aftermath of the fire incident. Public exchanges during this time of a crisis remain unhelpful and may serve to negatively affect the ongoing process of implementing the institutional business continuity and recovery plan.
Well, as you heard there, the letter written to Parliament, Nehawu instructed that none of its members should report for duty at Parliament until such time the precinct and its buildings have been declared safe to work in by competent bodies such as the Department of Employment and Labour and the independent authorities other than the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and Parliament Management. From Nehawu, we're now joined by Themba Gubula. He's Nehawu's Parliament Branch Secretary. Mr. Gubula, thank you so much for your time this morning. First, can you confirm the authenticity of that letter? Is it from Nehawu?
Yeah, good morning, Desiree, and good morning to your viewers. Authenticity is in the affirmative. It's confirmed. It's from the union. It's from Nehawu.
So what prompted you to write the letter? What are your concerns?
Look, the major concern for us was the safety of our members. We felt that the employer is not taking serious the safety of our members by asking our members to continue coming into work. And so as a union, we then had to say, you are playing marbles, you are playing games with the lives of our members. So we are now instructing our members not to come into work until such time the precinct of Parliament has been declared safe to work in. Now, the report by the City of Cape Town's Fire Department is one reason amongst many. As you see in the letter, we cited more than one. But what is important about that report from the City of Cape Town, it speaks about the buildings that caught fire. Now, as workers, we're asking ourselves, if those buildings that caught fire, that were engulfed by the fire, have such a dire compliance levels with health and safety and building regulations, how much more about the other buildings that have not been inspected, where Parliament would expect our members to go and work in the meantime, they are fixing those ones. So we're then saying, until we get a full report on all the buildings of Parliament, their compliance, then we will only tell our members to go back to work, failing which our members will continue working from home. We can't risk the safety of our members. The Constitution enshrines the right to life, and that right to us is very sacrosanct. We can't send our members to Parliament, an institution or precinct we deem as a death trap.
You say in the letter, as things stand, our members are very anxious and are not persuaded that Parliament will be able to contain any further outbreak of fire and are justly worried about their safety. But let's just backtrack a bit here, Mr. Kubula. You're concerned about safety after the fact, after the fire. Can you clarify for us what the situation was before the fire? Because reports are saying Nehawu stopped its members from going through even then.
No, that's not true. The state of compliance before the fire was alarming. That's why, as the union, we are saying, whilst we are shocked by the fire that engulfed Parliament, we are not surprised, because from time to time, we have raised concerns with the accounting officer of Parliament with respect to the non-compliance of Parliament's building to the Health and Safety Act regulations. So it is not true that the concerns arose after the fire. They've been there all the time. We've got a letter which we sent to the accounting officer, acting secretary to Parliament in July, for example, where we raised these issues sharply, referring to a 2018 investigation into the compliance issues of Parliament that was done by an independent service provider.
So over the issues with compliance with the Occupational Health or OHS Act, there's now stories coming up that the buildings the fixed assets of Parliament might not be insured. Just give us a sense of what kind of conversations you've been having with Parliament in this regard.
Well, on that front, we haven't had a discussion with Parliament with regard to the reports that the buildings are not secured. You would understand that even to ourselves, it came as a shock that we are working in such buildings, but they are not insured. So we will be writing to Parliament as the union to seek answers regarding that. But we also understand that the Portfolio Committee on Public Works is also going to seek answers from Parliament and Public Works regarding that. So we haven't had much engagement regarding that. Our issue has been the safety of our members in the Parliament precinct, but we've been saying, Desiree, that contrary to what other people want the public to believe, the union wants to cooperate with Parliament. The workers want to cooperate with Parliament and ensure that the business of Parliament continues. However, the employer has an obligation in terms of the Health and Safety Act to provide a healthy and safe environment for staff members. And in this case, we are convinced and the reports are there that Parliament has failed to provide that safe environment for our members. So we're saying until they prove us wrong, that's only the time our members will go back to work.
Of course, the full extent of the damage to the Parliament building is not yet known, but have you, as Nehawu, been able to conduct your own initial assessment just in terms of determining if your members are able to go back to safe working spaces, or if there's a chance at all that there will be some level of safety if they go back?
Look, we, as I said, we're not forensic experts as the union. So we rely on competent bodies, as I said, Department of Employment and Labor, and Forensics, Fire Department, to give us that kind of assurance. So for us, we can't say with the naked eye that this building looks safe for you, comrades, you can come in and work. We can't. We'll be guided by those reports from those competent bodies. I think the other issue we want to highlight is that Parliament says they've told or instructed or informed staff members by the 2nd of January, that they are not expected to be at work physically. That may very well be true, but the issue is that it was not actualized, meaning as much as they may have communicated that, there were still staff members at work. Last week I was at work on a number of days, and I saw the cleaning staff there, the catering staff, members of protection services, members of the transport department of Parliament, staff that are not managers, ordinary employees, who approached me to say, what are we doing here? Our lives are not safe here. What is the union doing? So we are saying, therefore, we hope therefore that Parliament, after having issued that communication to the staff, that all level of managers will then heed that advice and make sure that no employee is exposed to that unsafe environment.
So what is the way forward? Has the employer responded to your letter?
Yeah, that's another interesting thing. The employer has not responded to the letter, and we only see the spokesperson of Parliament, Mr. Mothapo, responding in the statement and in the interviews that he's done. So we're not sure if he's been mandated by the Speaker and the Chairperson to do that. But as a union, with the mutual respect we have with the Speaker and the Chair, we hope that they will respond to us in writing. As Mr. Mothapo alluded to, when the fire first broke out, the union and Parliament were in the media saying different things, and a meeting was held with the Speaker and the President of Nehawu, Comrade Michael Shingange, and parties agreed that the union, if it has the evidence that it claims to have, which it does have, it's not helpful that it talks about it in the media, but it will be more helpful to adduce it during the inquiry or the investigation. So we were convinced, therefore, that we've established a mutual working relationship, and that when parties write to each other, responses will then be given accordingly. So we are still waiting for the Speaker and the NCOP Chair to respond to our letter as the workers.
Mr. Kubula, thank you so much for making the time to speak to us this morning.
Thank you, Tesla.
Themba Kubula is Nehawu's Parliament Branch Secretary. An Australian court this morning has ruled